UTSA. And if you've heard about us talk about UTSA on this show, we're really big fans of the Roadrunners. We think they play good football. We think their record is not what reflects how good this football team is. We think Frank Harris is one of the best quarterbacks in the country, which we're going to talk about here shortly. So I say to Steve, I said, give me UTSA versus MTSU in a bowl game. Come on, just give it to me. Wouldn't that be great?
Yep.
20 minutes later, we're getting ready to get the games going. And I said, you remember when I just said that? Had no idea they were playing this week. No idea. So this is a game. This is a bowl preview. Here we go. We just got a game that has, in my mind, bowl implications. This is the first annual SlasherU Bowl. This is where it is. UTSA versus MTSU. This game's going to be fun. I mean, we've seen some fun offense from both these teams. Middle Tennessee State is coming off one hell of a win against the Miami Hurricanes. Incredible. Will there be a hangover? I don't know. But UTSA, as we both stated, Steve, 2-2 does not reflect this team whatsoever. Their win over Texas Southern last week really showed it. Their losses, 1-0 in overtime, one against a tough Texas Longhorn team. I mean, they are just one good football team. Middle Tennessee State, we all know about their win against Miami last week. They put the hurt on it. I mean, I think Middle Tennessee's coach, if you've paid attention to social media at all, has really made sure everybody knows that Middle Tennessee beat the Hurricanes last week. He said, Miami gave us $1.5 million to play that game, and Miami only gained 1.6 yards per play. So you put that into perspective. That's pretty interesting. I'm excited for this game. I'm leaning towards the Roadrunners because there's a lot of love in my heart for these teams right now, which is crazy to think about a Texas football team. Where's your thoughts at?
Well, people forget, the Roadrunners, Texas, San Antonio, they're the defending Conference USA champs. And personally, having literally obsessed and watched every single one of their games, I think they're playing better this year, and they're 2-2 than they did when they won the conference title last year. Frank Harris, we've talked about it every single week. And for those of you out there that are getting tired of me beating the Frank Harris drum, you might need to get some earplugs because I'm going to keep beating that drum all season long. Not only is he going to play in the NFL, I think by season's end and you get through the combine, he's going to go in the first round. I really think he has that kind of talent. He's that kind of a leader on the field. You see his teammates looking to him after a play, even as they're getting into huddle, their eyes are fixed on him. What's he going to call? What's he going to do? What does he think? He can do it all. It'll be interesting because Middle Tennessee State does give up passing yards, in bunches. So, and then I had a different number. I had him at 300, but it says 250 there. Either way, 250 passing yards, that can win you a football game. So it'll be interesting to see what Stockstill does. Rick Stockstill, the coach of Middle Tennessee State, as far as how he approaches trying to shut down Texas San Antonio. Everything's going to go through Harris. He's just the best player in the conference. He might be the best G5 player, of 2022. Stockstill is a good coach. We're going to talk about him a little bit later when we start talking about Georgia Tech, because I think that would be a place he would really fit well. But yeah, there's the numbers, for Frank Harris. I swear it seems like he threw for more than 1,310 yards. There are times when he's in a groove that it looks like he threw for 1,310 yards in the game. He's just that fluid and that in command. His presence is unbelievable. I don't want to. Middle Tennessee State University, if Stockstill stays, they're going to be a Conference USA power for many years to come.
Yeah, Conference USA needs some teams to really step up, because with the removal of a few teams last year in the offseason, some moving to the Sun Belt, there was a lot of thoughts on what Conference USA was going to look like. And so far, it hasn't been bad. We've seen basically the same level of competition as we had last year. And that is a lot on UTSA for sure. And I know you're a big on Frank Harris. I think you're definitely bigger on Frank Harris than I am, but he is a great quarterback. I mean, my God, look what he did at Texas Southern last week. Incredible. 6th in the country in passing. I'm pretty sure he has 2 games over 50 yards now, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he's incredible. And you're right. I think when you look at Middle Tennessee, I think they're also a really great team as well. Chase Cunningham. It is incredible. When you watch this game against Miami, I mean, you can go watch the other games. He played well too, but the game he had against Miami last week, do your a favor. I know for some reason the cameras are weird because there was lightning in the area, but if you go back and watch at least the condensed game on YouTube or something of this game, Cade Cunningham throws a good football. He puts it in a spot where only his receivers can get. Now, granted, he has some very talented receivers, some very quick receivers, so he has a little bit of forgiving room. So that's nice to have as someone in a group of 5 team. But he put on a show last week against a team he should have not put on a show against. Miami absolutely was embarrassed, and Chase Cunningham was leading the charge. Now, we talk about these stats. We talk about UTSA versus Middle Tennessee. We say, oh man, this game's going to be really good. A lot of people think Middle Tennessee can win this game. I think you and I are on the other side of this football. But when you look at this squad, you look at this level of talent, it's really hard to decide who can win this football game. I'm really torn on this one. I'm going to lean towards UTSA. UTSA is actually the 4-point favorite right now, but according to ESPN, MTSU is the 61.6% predicted on the matchup prediction. So it's pretty split no matter where you look at it. A 4-point favorite on the road, that's actually pretty interesting for UTSA. The over-under is 65. I'm slamming that over, and let me tell you why. I think Frank Harris is going to do just fine, and that UTSA offense is going to do just fine against Middle Tennessee State. But I'm nervous about the Roadrunners defense based on what I saw from Chase Cunningham last week against Miami. How fast those receivers are, I don't know if any secondary is going to be able to keep up with them. We saw a 99-yard touchdown last week, Steve. We saw, I think, another 80-something yard touchdown. Those kids on the outside are fast. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. I think they got fire under their wheels from the win against the Hurricanes last week. And I think they continue on. Is there a hangover in the making? I don't know. It could happen. UTSA, though, is probably the toughest 2-2 team in the nation. And they might be tougher than Miami. So I'm going to take UTSA. I'm taking the Roadrunners, and I'm slamming the over. But this game is going to be fun to watch. If you like offense, this is the game for you.
I tried to find a way to pick Middle Tennessee. I really did. Because they're a well-coached football team. They're a disciplined football team. Chase Cunningham, like you said, well, there's a lot of forgiveness with him. He's also not afraid to throw a ball, maybe overthrow it by 2 or 3 yards, because those receivers are athletic enough and acrobatic enough and fast enough that they can run down a mistake. Or if he's having to overthrow it because coverage is there. I'm going to go the under in this game only because of the track of Hurricane Ian. Now that it's coming in the South Carolina coast, it's probably going to be rainy conditions. I don't think it's going to totally derail either of the offensive displays. When I first made notes about this game, I had it over, and I could see both teams scoring at least 40 points. I think the weather potentially, I didn't call Jim Cantori before we went on the air. I probably should have, but the weather potentially could affect exactly how much offense goes on there. But like it's going to be close. I'm going to go on the under, but I've been going with UTSA every game this year. I don't see why I should change at this point. I think this is where Frank Harris just being just a little bit better than Chase Cunningham, I think that just makes the difference in the end. And it's going to be a close game. It's going to be probably even in the rain, it's going to be one of the most fun games, if not the most fun game on the schedule this weekend. But I'm going to go UTSA.
Jim Cantori might not pick up your phone. He might be too busy getting hit by tree branches. I'm not sure if you saw that this week, but yeah,
I did see it. Yeah.
He's out there doing some crazy stuff. Hey, UTSA is in the front running for my first half for college football MVP. Whoever gets that's the hat I buy. So we'll see. So UTSA, you keep it up, and you got a purchase from Fanatics from me, and probably a Roadrunners hat wearing on the shows here in the future.